Alright, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons & Dragons The Lanwell Chronicles.
I
Let's see who shall be doing the recap this time. I can't actually remember who's already done it. I think everyone has, so I'll just roll a d4 and pick our and we'll see who ends up getting it. That would be Doc.
Oh, I am actually the one who has not done it, so.
Oh, okay, then that works out well. Thank you, Parser.
Alright, so last time we joined up for the final battle in the forest against the protectors of those weird stone pieces that were causing strange behavior in the children's. And one of the Pokemon present was a Trevenant that displayed particularly aberrant behavior and didn't look right, and maybe wasn't even a normal Pokemon? Question mark. But we were able to fight them off, and we reported to the Meowstick how that we were successful with our mission. We still had to take him in because he was guilty of theft, even if he had a good reason for it. And that is essentially what happened, because I remember the combat took up most of the session.
Yeah. The only thing outside of that was that Eugene and Raniel had a bit of a talk, but you weren't involved. And there's also the fact that a few of you grabbed some of the pieces of the rock and did stuff with them. But yeah, that was it was an easy session, so luckily that means you weren't too punished for it being 3 weeks. So yeah, give yourself a d6 of luck points. Average. Okay. Alright, so after all that, you all naturally head to your beds and take, you all head to your beds and take a bit, take a nap. You all head to your beds and sleep. And eventually, morning comes. However, oddly enough, there doesn't seem to be any quaking, nothing like that. Like, if you guys are waking up, it'll be just due to natural circadian rhythm or maybe the sun filtering in your eyes, but there's no shaking or earthquake to wake you guys up.
Oh, then I'm sleeping in, definitely.
Well, maybe they finally realized that nonsense was unnecessary.
Either that or the system is broken.
That's also a possibility. What do you think? Do you want to just sleep in?
I see no reason not to, unless it is actually broken and we should be convening right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Not convening. Convening is when you leave, isn't it?
No, that's when
you know
leave.
what I meant.
Meanwhile, I'm wondering whether or not, but I let him sleep in.
Up to you.
Yep, I'm in Lawell land.
With there not being an alarm, I'm going to assume something's happened, but for now I'm going to leave Eugene. I'm actually going to go check this out.
Okay. So, the three of you, not including Eugene, the three of you exit out, and by the looks of things, you don't really see anybody in the hallway. Like, there doesn't seem to be the usual procession of your fellow guildies waking up and heading down. The hallway seems fairly empty and quiet. Any of you want, you could give me a perception check.
Except me.
Yeah, except for the one who's sleeping and therefore can only perceive his own dreams.
Mhm.
Alright, let's
Stupid
see
sheet
here.
with scroll.
Okay.
It's been so long I've forgotten Renuel's wisdom stat. There we go.
That's not stamped. Where is it? There it
Not looking so hot so far. There you go.
is.
Okay, so Harold and Reniel, you don't really see or hear anything. Sergey, you do hear something. You hear a bit of movement coming from the nearby library. The sound of someone walking around, maybe picking books off the shelves and stuff like that. That's what you hear.
Right. I'm gonna start heading in that direction, and I'm gonna motion for the others to follow. It sounds like there might be someone in the library.
Renuel will follow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you open to the library. I think for a few of you, this is the first time you've been here. The sleeping one's been here plenty, but for the rest of you, it seems to be kind of decently sized. Like, not as large as you'd imagine a public library to be, but still decently sized. There's several comfy couches or chairs. There's a nice fireplace at the side of the room, though it isn't lit at the moment. But what you see is one of the guild leaders, Raven. He seems to be walking around looking for a book on one of the shelves. And he seems to be very casual right now.
No one says anything.
I had a ping spike. What was that?
Oh, basically you walked into the library, I described it, and you see Ravens just casually walking around looking through the shelves for some book or something like that.
Okay. Renuel's going to, in his usual manner, inside of his head, say, "What book are you looking for, Raven?"
Okay, you do that. Raven slightly jumps for a moment before he looks over at you three and he says, "Oh, hey guys. Nothing in particular. Just looking to see what book I want to read."
Right, it's awfully quiet today.
Is it a
No.
weekend?
Oh, right. We haven't told you guys, have we? Yeah. Today's a day off for basically all of you that are currently here. Today's a day off.
That would explain the lack of quakes this morning.
Yeah, if you don't sorry, I'm tripping up my words today. If you don't feel or hear our alarm system, then yeah, that usually means we decided it's a day off. We don't always have it on weekends. Usually we'll have it depending on sort of how the guild's morale is doing. Whether you guys had some difficult missions or stuff like that. And we decided yesterday that today would be a day off. Sorry we forgot to tell you guys though. My bad.
I am sure
Raises an
Eugene will
eyebrow
appreciate.
slightly.
I am sure Eugene will appreciate it.
I'm glad they did not consider to wake him up. I figured it would be good to check first.
Would you say, Harold?
I just said he raises an eyebrow.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can feel free to basically spend today how you want. Obviously, since you guys finished your mission, feel free to head up anytime you want if you want to get your cash reward if you feel like shopping. But otherwise, today is free for you guys to sort of spend how you want it. If you're looking for the rest of the guys, don't know where Aurora is at the moment, and Terador and Finlay are both gone, but I believe Madeline's at the amphitheater if any of you want to listen to her practicing. Kaylin...
No, thank you.
He pauses for a moment, and he's like, okay, anyways, Edgar's probably training. He might be looking to have one of you sparring. Kaylin's still probably at her lab. She mentioned that she does want to see you guys at some point in time, but otherwise she's still buried in her lab. And, yeah, that's basically it. So, if you want to head out in town and relax and do anything, you can. If you just want to lounge around and relax, then you can.
And I assume it'll be business as usual tomorrow.
Yep, that is correct.
Harold does a small bow and takes his leave.
Okay.
Reniel just turns around and leaves without saying anything.
We'll probably want to wake up Eugene when we want to go and... Oh, who was it we want to talk with?
It was either Kaylin for what you wanted to meet you with, also you to get the money for your last mission from the guild leaders.
Right. That.
All right. Well,
you'll have to forgive me. The names are never my forte.
Same.
Write them down.
I have things written down, but even then I still have trouble remembering in the middle of a conversation.
Okay. All right. So I guess Reniel will just go up to the guild leaders to get. I believe you said the guild leaders or the front desk to get his pay.
The guild leaders.
Okay. He's gonna go up. Well, I guess Raven's right there. So he starts to leave, but then he just turns around and walks up to Raven, and he says, "I am ready to receive my pay."
Raven looks to you. He sighs and says, "Can't you bother the old man up there about it?"
You said the guild leaders, and you are a guild leader. You are closer, and it would require less effort.
Do I look like I'm walking around with this library with your money?
I do not know where you keep things hidden on your fur. After all, and some of his tentacles pop out with various items that he's keeping in his mane. I do it all the time.
Raven just standing there blinking for a moment, just giving you the biggest WTF expression.
You'll never get used to it.
He eventually sighs and says, all right, follow me and I'll get you your pay. And he starts
Thank you.
Walking out of the library and upstairs.
Reniel follows him.
I guess Sergey's going to follow as well.
Excuse me, what? What about you, Harold?
He kind of shakes his head, follows along.
Okay.
Kind of like the company I keep.
I mean, you're not wrong. Okay.
Wait, did he say that aloud, or was that just...
No, I mean, like, that's kind of the idea that the head shake conveys.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you all walk up. Raven unlocks the door to the main guild leader's office. You see that you see that Thornton isn't in there, so Raven himself goes in. He opens up a small money box, and for each of you, he produces 60 gold.
Okay.
He says,
Hang
alright.
on, new computer. Gotta find my calculator. There it is.
Nice.
My thanks.
Yeah, don't mention it. You guys did good work. Alright, be sure to remind your friend, unless one of you wants to bring it to him, but personally...
Well, he's still sleeping.
Yeah, and personally, I'm not exactly too big of a fan of handing out other people's money.
It's understandable.
What's going to happen to the Meow Stick?
Right now, we're still processing things, but more likely than not, what we're gonna do is probably give him the minimum sentence we can, and then allow him to serve a quick sentence and head back to whatever he wants to do.
Perhaps less time for good behavior.
Yeah. Him handing himself over does make things a lot easier, so hopefully he should be out and back on his feet without too much issue. I mean, it's going to go on his record, but at least the fact that he came in willingly should definitely help him.
Those children need him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with the children. At least in terms of knowing that they're there. We're sort of debating, and we might even start having discussions with him on what to do. If possible, what we could do is we could just have his incarceration be in the forest, but it'd be difficult to ensure that.
Unless you have someone accompanying him the whole time.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like a job too many of us would want, but suppose maybe we'll see if anyone wants to rotate. Could maybe get a few guild members from Ledrith. They could help him with whatever he's doing research-wise there.
Right, it would work for everyone. Then that would also be able to study whatever's going on there.
Yeah. I'll discuss that with the other guild leaders, and we'll see if we can do that. And hopefully we don't hear any more reports. All the items have already been returned to their owners, and the town seems to be a bit more livelier today now, knowing that the forest isn't so terribly dangerous anymore.
Harold nods.
In any case, is that everything you guys need?
Reniel
I
nods.
believe so.
Don't think there's anything else to discuss.
Alright, now if you'll excuse me, he sort of ushers you guys out of the room so he can lock it and go back to the library. Alright, enjoy your day off, you guys. And yeah, he walks back towards the library.
What will you two be doing with your day off?
Check to see if there's any supplies I can stock up on, I think mostly.
He looks through his belongings briefly just to see if he needs to stock up as well. I think I should be fine. I'm actually considering talking to Edgar. Maybe we spar again.
Perhaps I will watch if you spar. I am quite fond of all of your matches.
I remember you were there during our first meeting.
Yes, it was very entertaining.
In the meanwhile,
But-
maybe I'll consider waking up Yuji and let him know about his pay.
Raniel nods and says,
If you need me, I will be with Kaylin.
I suppose I'll be there as well. Yet I'm a bit curious as to exactly what she might have found out.
I'm rather curious myself, as I supplied her with several specimens of the rocks that we destroyed.
Oh, then most likely she's getting back to us on that.
Alright, so are you guys gonna then all head down, or is anyone gonna wake up Eugene first,
I
or...
was gonna go head over and wake up Eugene.
Okay. Alright, so, Sergey, you walk in, you see the loafing Quill.
Not really loafing. It's more like butt up, face down.
his nose is like squished into the floor.
Yeah.
Does not look very comfortable to sleep like that. I'm gonna nudge him awake.
What?
Well, you've gotten the chance to sleep in, but I think it's plenty late now.
There's no earthquake yet.
There's no earthquake today because it's your day off. You get to do whatever you want. Speaking of which, Raven mentioned there's pay for our job yesterday, so if you want to head up to the office and get that.
I guess I should go get that, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm. And afterwards, you'll probably want to meet us over at Kaylin. Apparently, she wanted to speak to all of us.
I don't want to go anywhere near her.
She asked specifically
For me?
for all of us.
All of us as in you three?
Us four.
That's when I kind of slide out of bed, pull myself up. I'm going to go get the money first.
That is fine.
All right, I kind of stretch, get those cracks out, and I guess I'm gonna go up to one of the leaders' rooms. I think we went to Raven's room last time to collect our money.
You went to the main guild area, but yeah, if you want to go up to the leaders' rooms, you can.
All right. I guess this is kind of my second mission. Is so I guess I'm gonna ask, where am I supposed to go?
Oh, right. You mean asking Sergey or asking...
Yeah, I'm asking Sergey.
Well, let's see. Raven was in the library, but he didn't really want to chat after. Trying to find the map just to think of how to explain it.
I mean, who do I go to go?
Well,
get
just Thornton, I guess.
Okay, well, I'll go to his room then. Off I go. I'm gonna leave the room and go upstairs.
Okay. You walk upstairs, you go to the door on the right, and what are you going to do?
I knock.
Alright, you knock. Takes a few moments, but eventually the door opens and you see a rather sleepy Sawsbuck on the other side. He looks down at you and says, after a yawn, he says, "Oh, Eugene, hello. Do you need something? Or not?"
Hi, sir. I was, well, if you were sleeping, I don't want to bother you, but I believe our mission was a success yesterday.
Ah, right. You must be looking for your pay. Very well. He gives another yawn before exiting his room, walking over to the main guildmaster's desk and guildmaster's office, and he gets you 60 gold from the money box.
All right. Thank you. And what I heard is correct. It's a day off today.
That is correct. You all have done excellent work recently, so we decided to give you all the day off. You may spend it how you wish. I believe, from what I've heard, there are some Pokemon looking for you guys, but beyond that, you're free to spend this day however you please.
I hope I'm not imposing, but you look very tired, sir.
Paperwork in the middle of the night will do that for you.
Oh, well, I don't envy that.
It's one of my tasks. As a guildmaster, I am responsible for upkeep. I'm responsible for correspondence. Raven helps, but I still like to make sure all the work is done well and done neatly, so that way we can keep going as best as possible.
If I may as well, it's about yesterday. I was just a little curious. I was going to my room to pick up my tools for the day, and I noticed you walking with a very imposing-looking Alakazam. Who is he?
Oh, him? That was Shad. He's the leader of our branch in Gwable town down in Ledrith.
What was he doing all the way down here?
He just had some information he wanted us to be aware of before heading off on his day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just curious of who that was. I never saw his face around here.
You may see him more if you ever happen to make your way over to Ledrith. But, yeah, nothing too important to you happened that day.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I was just curious, that's all.
Curiosity is a fine thing for one as young as you.
Yeah, well, gotta go. Bye.
Goodbye.
And also, I'm gonna roll my lucky die for the day.
Ah, alright. Yeah, sure.
I was gonna do it when I woke up, but I was in conversations, and this is the first kind of tween thing I got. Yeah, it's a 19.
Oh, that'd be really nice if this worked a day off.
Well, you never know, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Today, brought to you by the number 19.
Yeah. So I will reluctantly go down to the lab now to meet the crew in the lab yard.
Okay, so you all head downstairs, and as Raven said, you see, since you have to pass through the dojo in order to reach your lab, you see Edgar down there. He seems to be practicing against a substitute doll, using various martial arts, punches, kicks, stuff like that, and battering at the thing. And the thing seems to be very sturdy for what is essentially just a doll.
Is it any specific Pokemon as a substitute doll, or is it that like generic green thing?
That generic green thing.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But after passing through the dojo, you reach her lab door once again.
Do I hear talking, or do I know aware if my friends are there?
I mean all of you. You would have met up with them before reaching the lab.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I assume you guys would have been waiting for him before entering the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically where you're at. You're all standing in front of the lab door.
Well, I'm here.
She works fast, I'll give her that.
Only one day and already back to us.
Yeah, what a genius. Let's just get this over with.
Okay.
Harold knocks on the door.
Okay. You...
Quill seems to be having trouble.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why I was a little hesitant to say anything. Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Alright. For those of you who can't see chat, one of our players is having ISP issues right now.
Okay, I'm back.
There we
now.
go.
Okay. Alright, so Harold, you were knocking on the door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you knock on the door, and the door opens up and you see Kaylin on the other side. She seems to be wearing some sort of strangish red goggles, and she looks over at all of you and says, "Oh, hey, you guys. Glad you could join me."
You wanted to see us.
Yep, that is correct. I have a basic analysis of the rocks you sent me. I don't have a full analysis yet, but I have some information I thought you might want to hear.
And Harold enters.
Reniel follows him.
Eugene's like kind of crossing his arms, looking away as he enters.
Okay. So, yeah, you all enter, and what you see is not really a mad scientist lair, but what you definitely see is definitely like there's a lot of various chemicals of all different colors, some of which are even rainbow colored. You see several scattered pieces of paper with complex formulas on them. And there's also a whiteboard with also more complex formulas on them. And she takes you across to where a few of the red rocks are, and you see several potions also next to those rocks, one of which is glowing, the remaining are not.
When I look at the formulas on that board, can I tell if like any one of them is wrong?
Give me, I want to say give me an Arcana check, but you're gonna have to roll really high.
Okay, no history, or no, it's Arcana. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Arcana.
D20 plus 1.
No.
Yeah.
Can Reniel tell what any of them are?
If you roll another Arcana check, then maybe.
Right.
No.
Nope.
She's
Four.
she's apparently too big brained for all of you. Or maybe it's maybe less that she's big brained, or more that she makes it so overly complicated that that's otherwise hard to understand as well. Take your pick.
no.
It's like one of those writings that's basically only comprehensible to the person that wrote it. Otherwise, it's gibberish.
Mm-hmm.
The most complex way to write 2 + 2.
Yes. But anyways, she walks over to the rock and she says, "Alright, I'm not sure. I'll start with what I'm not sure on. I'm not quite sure how or why these rocks were controlling those Pokemon correctly, or yet, exactly. I have theories right now, but none of them have enough evidence for me to fully state it. But I do have one bit of news at the very least. I figured out what these rocks are.
Harold cocks an eyebrow in interest.
She says, these rocks are a particular type of igneous rock found only on one of the volcanoes in the Tronfenel Islands. And for those of you who want to know what that is, give me a history check. Sergey, you have advantage because if you're a seafarer, you probably would have more likely heard of it.
All right.
So give me history, anyone who wants to know, and Sergey, you have advantage.
Renniel's not up to this today.
No.
Eugene and Reniel are not having a good day, apparently. Okay, Sergey and Harold, what you are aware that the Tronfenel Islands are a group of volcanic islands, think sort of Hawaii-like, to the northwest of Lanwell. They're fairly closed indigenous Pokemon. I was about to say people. But yeah, they're fairly closed and indigenous Pokemon. They used to have very lucrative trades with, in fact, this is actually very good that both the people from Caldwell got this. They actually had very lucrative trades with Caldwell, and they were one of Caldwell's main supporting partners, but after all the warmongering Caldwell made, they basically cut themselves off and stopped maintaining contact with anyone in Landwell altogether.
Why would rocks from there end up here?
That is a very interesting question, I won't deny. I'm actually wondering the same thing.
Almost seems deliberate.
You mentioned having some theories as to how they might have been controlling them. Harold nods at the stones. Care to share them?
Well, this is just a theory, but if what I have researched on the Tronfenel Islands is correctly, they have a mystery dungeon in one of their volcanoes, and I believe these rocks were mined straight from that mystery dungeon, giving them slightly more arcane properties and allowing all manners of magic to be implanted at them easily. And since they came from a mystery dungeon, and since those Pokemon you mentioned seem like they also were mystery dungeon, I believe that's where the connection is. I still don't know exactly how it was done, though, but that's my suspicions.
That's never happened before, then, has it? Somebody taking a piece of terrain out of a mystery dungeon and it exerting influence on others nearby?
It's certainly unusual as far as I've heard. It's why it's so very perplexing.
I wouldn't consider that perplexing, I would consider that concerning.
So in other words, you suspect they were tampered with beyond that. Correct?
Very astute. I do indeed think that, though. In what ways my research hasn't revealed yet. However, I'd like to propose something for you guys, if you don't mind.
I'm listening.
I'm seeing that one of your players is having a spike. Yeah, she said she had something to propose to you guys. If you could hear that, you might not be able to.
I can hear things now.
Okay. Okay, she says, personally, I would like to travel to the Trophanel Islands in order to investigate this myself. And, if at all possible, heading to the islands alone would probably be difficult, so I would like to ask you guys to join me as well. You have no need to outright accept this, but my curiosity burns, and I imagine you guys also want to learn what's going on.
Yes, I will go with you.
I can't lie that I'm curious.
I assume we won't be welcome there.
We
But
Do you get used to not being welcomed places?
well, as
No.
we saw with our first mission, you do remember how they reacted to me. And if
So what are our plans for dealing with that? I suppose it won't be a problem as long as we take enough supplies.
We are the Freelance Guild at the very least, and I have heard from Raven that the Freelance Guild has been trying to reopen communications with the Trophanel Islands, so I'm hoping that they'll be willing to accept us as some form of emissaries of peace. Also, if the mining of these rocks or the taking of these rocks are causing them problems, then that would give us a good reason to go on their grounds and investigate as well. Of course, these are mostly hopes.
We should see if we can send word in advance and see how we might be received. Then again, if they wouldn't be receptive, I'm interested in going, don't get me wrong, and I fully intend to. I just want to make sure we're properly prepared first.
That's a very good thing. I'd recommend you all take this up with Raven and Thornton. I'm sure they might be able to help with that. Meanwhile, I've been looking at least as to how we can get there, and I do have two methods.
well,
Those
look together
being?
now.
We can either charter a ship to sail us
Oh
across.
gosh.
You just went underwater.
Oh. The funny thing is I was talking about ships, so me going underwater is hilarious.
Method acting.
Yes. Okay, she says, 1, we can either charter ourselves a ship to sail us to those islands, though that would lead to... There would be 2 issues with that. The first being that, from what I hear, pirates are very frequent in the northern Caldwell seas, and we might be attacked by them. And the second is that if they decide our presence isn't worth having around, they would be able to spot us coming and prepare a response to attack us the moment we reach their shores.
That shouldn't be an issue as long as we make contact with them and get permission in advance.
That is correct, yes.
Or we could land on an uninhabited part of the island.
Another fair point. We'll have to take that up with whichever captain we end up going with if we choose that. As for the second one, there is records of a mystery dungeon that was used to bridge Caldwelch and the Tronfanel Islands. And I found where the location is in one of my books, so we could take a mystery dungeon and go directly to there. Though, this would allow us to sneak in if needed, but otherwise, it would get us the fastest passage to there, but well, it's a mystery dungeon, so I'm sure you guys are probably well aware of the risks of taking that way.
And we don't
We
know
should take a
exactly
ship.
we don't know how dangerous this mystery dungeon could be.
It was used rather frequently between Caldwelch and the island, so I would imagine it's not too dangerous, but at the same time, it's been so many years since then, and we have not had anyone investigate the mystery dungeon since, so I can't say much other than what little we know of from then, and hope that hasn't changed too much.
I'm going to have a clear bias here, but I think a ship might be a better option. I am familiar with sailing myself, so
I am in agreement.
Eugene?
We haven't decided if we're going yet.
You have not decided if you are going yet.
Well, you guys just say yes to everything? Is that it?
I have nothing better to do.
It counts as work for the guild.
I'm worried about
Okay.
this incident. I
Would be
think
good
it's
to follow. And,
something that could cause problems, and it's something that needs to be investigated.
All right then. All right then. Let's go to the remote island with natives who are savage towards two of our group members. Nothing
that's
will go
a
wrong.
pretty big assumption.
I don't think they'd be savage to only those of you from Caldwelch. Last I heard, they're not really a big fan of anyone from Lanwell.
Oh, that's even better.
Sergey immediately just face palms. That's. I was attempting to sugarcoat it.
Harold is going to turn to Kaelin. Seems our team is not in full agreement yet. Perhaps if you would not mind if we could discuss this elsewhere and come back to you with our verdict later.
Sure, feel free. I'll be in my lab all day, continuing to look at these, see if I can glean more information. So, when you guys decide, and whenever you guys decide how we plan on getting there, if you do, feel free to come to my lab, and we can go from there.
Do you have an alternative plan in the event that we decide not to follow?
For me myself, to be honest, would very much like to go, but perhaps I can get some of the other guild members to join me as well, but I kind of doubt none of them have as much of a stake in this as you, so I doubt they'd listen, and I'd probably just go on my own and hope for the best.
You going on your own seems a bit dangerous.
It might be, but I'm willing to take those risks.
Harold nods slowly. Let's meet in one of our rooms to discuss this.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so you all exit, and whose room are you heading to?
Which one's closer?
Literally, yeah, either or. They're both basically the same. I think technically Harold and Renniel's room is the closest to the staircase, but otherwise they're basically just the same distance.
Yeah,
We'll go to ours.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, so you all walk into the room. You don't seem to notice. Okay, well, you did see the tail end of Aurora heading to another door in the basement, and obviously Edgar is still training, but that's basically all you see. You didn't see anyone else on the way up.
Right.
All right. first and foremost, we need to look at, I don't know if the stakes is the right word, but I think there's a bit more to this than just do we go or do we not go.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we shouldn't just agree to it. And, you know, I think we've already decided because she's saying she's going alone, and we're not gonna. That's not. We're not given a choice. That's like an ultimatum.
Or going alone is too dangerous. It's kind of a choice we have to go to make sure people are safe.
We could potentially talk her out of it if we wanted to.
Can we really afford to not find out more information on these rocks, though?
And that's what I'm getting at. Look, I don't know what happened in the forest, but the idea of somebody being able to create a sort of artificial dungeon somewhere, they're bad enough as is. Imagine somebody with bad intentions actually being able to control them, to manipulate others the way those children were manipulated.
And the bigger concern is whether those stones were put there by choice or if they just showed up. Because if they showed up, there's an even bigger issue.
And I don't know if you picked up in that conversation we had down there, but there was a lot of hopefullys and probablys.
We at least know that's where they came from. That is a good point, though.
I would argue that we should go simply to resolve those hopefullys and probablys into more certain terms. Someone will have to, at some point.
Right?
Why
We don't
not
have
us?
any other leads for the time being.
Do you know what we're subscribing ourselves to if we go to there?
Potentially death.
And that
There's
doesn't.
also the question of what we're subscribing ourselves to if we don't.
Possibly worse.
But we're just trainees. Why put the burden of us going to some remote island that we could potentially get stranded on? The natives don't like us. And we're going to a mystery dungeon on top of all things there.
Not necessarily.
No, I think we are. That's where the rocks came from.
Oh wait, I got confused between that and the passage.
Well, you do raise some good points.
There's a good argument made to not go, but there's also a good argument made to go because of other problems like safety.
Well, no, like I said, I think we have to go because that arrogant Pokemon down there said she's going alone if we don't go.
Well,
It's a
I think
guilt
if-
trip.
I don't think she realized.
If she ends up not coming back, it's going to be on us. It's going to be on us.
I disagree. It would be her choice to go alone. It would be her fault.
But she asked us to go, and we're going to be the ones who said no.
She
if
was
we
the
can
one who
find
decided to
somebody
go
else-
anyway.
sorry.
She
don't
was
like
the
We
one
can
who.
find somebody else to go with her instead.
Yeah,
She said she would consider going alone if it came to that point, though. Look, I don't like the argument being made as much as you do, Eugene, but don't like the situation we're getting ourselves into when you put it like this.
If you ask my personal opinion, I would like to see to it personally that she is safe, as she is one of the few individuals that does not seem at all disturbed by well, my condition.
Ugh.
Fine. We'll go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Harold, like, stares him. Well, I guess the closest you can to staring a Cyndaquil in the eyes.
Look at my eyes.
What do you see?
I don't want you doing this because you feel pressured into it.
Well, it comes with the territory of being part of a guild, doesn't it?
To be
Yeah.
entirely fair, every mission would be dangerous.
Yeah, but not every mission is in the middle of the sea. On an island.
Truth be told, I'm not sure that this mission is necessarily that much more dangerous than any other mission we might do.
Well, what I'm saying is, in any other mission we've done so far, we could have retreated. We could have just gone back to the guild with our tails between our legs and just called it a failure.
We would still be able to, as if we were not able to return by boat, we could simply take the mystery dungeon back.
Well,
That is true.
That is a good point.
But think of the situation we'd have to be in to consider retreat. We'd have to be battered and bruised.
Or
And we want to
outnumbered.
go through a mystery dungeon while in that state.
Not necessarily. If we chose to retreat before getting to that state, then we would still be perfectly in perfect health going in.
It would be something you have to play by ear.
From, my experience, retreats aren't that orderly and clean. They can be chaotic at times.
You just need to be expeditious enough with them.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
And are you willing to leave someone behind then?
It depends on if my own life is at stake.
Because I'm not.
Right, so,
I'm going to tell her she needs to find somebody else.
thought we just agreed with
Well, then what's your opinion, Harold?
Personally, I think this is a worthwhile investigation. But if we're not together on this, and if some of us are going because we feel forced, I'm not okay with that.
To
Well,
be
I have a
fair,
question.
it would be difficult not to feel forced if you're going to consider the alternatives of not going, but well, that's for Eugene to decide.
True. Tell the truth. Do you want to do any of these missions where we're throwing ourselves into harm's way?
Is that not what we're assigned to do on occasion?
We're assigned to do it, but do you want to do that? Do you want to be chased by a bunch of ghost Pokemon? Do you want to be paralyzed when you touch rocks? Do you want to get stuck in mud?
Huh.
You asked the Mudkip.
Do I enjoy the work itself?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say I necessarily do. But
Just the fun to it all, don't you think, though? Consider, there's always the stories we could
I
tell.
wasn't done.
Nah,
but at the same time, I think it's necessary, and I'm willing to.
Exactly. I don't want to go. I really don't want to go. But at the same time, I don't want her going alone and getting herself killed.
Harold nods.
All right.
And it would sound like we are in agreement, although with various forms of varying degrees of reluctance.
It seems so.
Now, as for the means of transport, I think we can unanimously agree we go by boat.
Yes.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Very well then.
In fact, boat might be the easier way, considering I still have this. He pulls out the little baton.
Do we know if we're taking a sailboat or
You don't.
Okay.
You imagine
least-
it's probably going to be a sailboat because that's, at least those of you who are used to seafaring stuff, which I think is probably all of you except for Reniel and maybe Harold. You'd imagine it'd be a sailboat, but it's not. You're not 100% certain, though. You kind of also would doubt you're going to take a rowboat out that far.
Now I'm just picturing the Wind Waker theme playing as somebody slowly rows in a rowboat.
Panting heavily. It'd be like cardio waker. Well, I don't know when we're heading out, so.
We should inform her of our decision.
That's probably best.
Yeah, I guess we'll head back down to the lab and
Okay.
let her know of our verdict.
Okay. While you're doing that, Crow and Doc, both of you roll me d6 luck points.
Awesome. I'm in the wrong chat. 4.
All right. So, anyways, you walk back down and knock on her door again, and she lets you in. She says, "So, did you come to a decision?"
We did. We're going to go with you, and we all agree that going by boat is preferable.
All right. Gotcha. Give me an insight check.
Everyone or just Doc?
Anyone.
Okay, I'll do it. It's pretty good. No, it's not good at all.
Okay. Sergey and Reniel, strangely enough, you both see that despite having a smile on her face, she is sort of breathing a sigh of relief. And she says, "All right, so if we're going by boat, you should know that I believe it's about a 4-day trip, so you should probably prepare food for that, and otherwise prepare for any and all eventualities involved with that. But beyond that, one or any of you should also head to the guild leaders and inform them of this. That way, they can hopefully send a letter out and make sure the islands are prepared for our arrival."
Would it possibly be more appropriate for you to inform them?
She...
Don't get me wrong, I'm willing to.
She stands for a moment and she says, I mean, that is fair. I was kind of just planning on retreating back into my lap after this, but you've got a fair point. Since this was my request, I should probably be the one to go see the guild leaders about it.
Harold nods.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I guess we'll get all of our ends figured out.
Yeah. You guys prepare as you need, and you still do have the day off. It hasn't been too long in the morning, so feel free to do whatever you have, and we'll see tomorrow about potentially going then.
That's soon.
I said potentially. I don't know exactly when we'll be doing it, but tomorrow is when work starts up again, so it's possible they'll send us that soon, or it's possible they'll wait for a response first. I'm not entirely
I should
sure.
hope they wait for a response first.
Send a message on the express pelipper.
They have those?
Maybe.
Yeah, haven't you seen them? They're those pelipers that have the different colors, I think.
The green ones.
I'm actually checking.
I
People have
suppose
to
we
go.
will take our leave.
All right, I'll head off and inform the guild leaders while you're off doing that. We'll see, I suppose, tomorrow or whenever. We'll meet up and hopefully we'll successfully make it to those islands.
We'll check in tomorrow anyway.
All right. She gives you a nod before she begins making her way up the stairs.
Well, I guess it's up to us to go maybe look for maps, I guess.
Maps, supplies, anything that'll be of use. We did just
Well-
get a pretty hefty paycheck, so
Mm-hmm. I've been in the library a few times, so maybe I can find something on Tron for now. Old maps. They might be outdated, but worth a shot.
Typically, continental drift is not enough to make the general position of an island obsolete.
Well, I mean, on the island. Like where we're going on the island.
I see. I thought you were talking about nautical maps.
Mm. Yeah, and with that, I guess I'm just gonna waddle over to up to the library.
Okay. All right.
Harold's gonna head into town to check out the shops and see if there's anything worthwhile for sale.
All right.
Sergey was going to consider asking Edgar about the sporting match, but at this point, it's probably better that he heads into town, maybe go looking for supplies, especially considering the boat.
Fair enough. Raniel?
I'm kind of debating just a second. I think he's probably going to go into town. The other option was sneaking around and finding out what Aurora was doing, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay. All right. So while Eugene heads into the library doing his research, which probably get you after the stream, what you
Yeah.
find there.
Some
Because-
like key things he would be looking for is like maybe like some of the dangers on the map, like if there's any poisonous foliage or there's trails and location stuff like that, just like navigation stuff mainly, and dangers along the way.
Okay.
Quicksand, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And of course, anything else too. Like,
Yeah.
stumble on.
All right. Yeah, I'll get you that. I'll get you that after the stream, since research is boring.
Yeah, it's better to read in downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. All right. So for the rest of you three, you head out into market. Obviously, as usual, there's two shops. There's the Kecleon's goods of random stuff that is occasionally not useful according to Renial. And then you've also got the hardware store if you want any of your standard practical items like your ropes, your pitons, stuff like that. So
We'll check out the Kecleon Mart first.
Yeah. Okay. So you check out the Kecleon market, and he says, "Oh, hello. Here's what we've got for today. I hope they're up to your satisfaction." And he gives a glare towards Renial.
Renial maintains just staring straight ahead and doesn't even acknowledge it.
Oh my goodness.
Renial versus the shopkeeper is the anime arc today.
When does this break out into a fight? He's gonna be known in mystery dungeons.
Just try. I'm gonna give myself a buffer to actually go for some supplies, obviously too. But
Yeah, these supplies will also be available to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is your shopping list. Feel free to ask about anything that's on there.
It's a poisonous snake. Hoo-hoo!
Careful, Eugene! That snake is poisonous!
Well,
I don't understand.
I was talking more about an owl, not Mickey. Doc clearly knows what's going on.
I was not aware of the reference. Your voice just sounded like Mickey, so...
What does the water spike do?
Basically, it is a short sword that deals cold damage instead of the normal piercing damage, I believe, or slashing. It does cold damage, and you imagine it's very effective against creatures that use fire. The necrotic dagger is similarly a dagger that deals necrotic damage instead of piercing.
Did say they're go. Oh yeah, I'm not here.
The B-sharp blades are hand axes, and the slingshot is basically the short bow, only it deals bludgeoning damage instead of piercing.
Right.
Obviously, I imagine the potions are self-explanatory. Citrus berry is basically a potion of healing. The orb of danger sense is interesting. So basically, it only works once, but it works throughout the entire dungeon. And what it does is, if there are any traps, it will glow red. Okay.
Oh no.
If there are any traps, it will glow red, and if there are any hidden rooms, it will glow yellow. It only works for one dungeon, but you could pull out that entire dungeon.
And it's better than the freaking find trap spell in that it actually finds traps.
Well, it tells you if there are traps in the room. It doesn't outright find the traps for you, but it tells you that there are some in the room.
But it detects stuff like crumbling floors.
Yes. Basically,
Okay, good.
I suppose, to be fair, anything that I, the DM, consider a trap. So the only thing I will outright say it doesn't do is it won't, like, if Pokemon are on the ceiling about to ambush you, then it won't do that. But if it's like a crumbling floor or a mystery dungeon trap or pitfalls or anything like that.
The Find Trap spell explicitly says it doesn't work on weak floors.
That's dumb.
Okay, but yeah, the Orb of Mass Healing Word, basically, you shatter it and you cast Mass Healing Word. Silence Orb is the silence spell. Evasion Orb is the blur spell. Yeah, the blur spell, only it doesn't require concentration from you.
And what does Safeguard do?
Okay, Safeguard is a 5 PP move, requires 1 action, lasts for 3 rounds, is 50 feet around self, and during the duration that is active, your party will not be afflicted by any negative conditions outside of KO and exhaustion.
Ooh.
How many PP do we have?
That's per move.
Yeah, basically a PP is basically you use it 5 times per day and then it restores all of it next day.
I see.
Oh, so that's all moves, not just.
It's per move. So like if
Okay.
you have a 5 PP move and a 3 PP move, you use 5 of the one move and 3 of the other though.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What does Renul's CD replicator look like?
Oh no.
Okay, so let's
Oh no.
Oh boy, Redial is being
This is gonna
Redial.
go so awful.
Okay, so it looks like this sort of strange box, but it has, I'd say it kind of looks like a picture. It looks like a picto box almost. Though it also opens up from the top. So like it's large bulky cube with a sort of camera thing on it.
Okay. All right. So, okay, in my head, I had like one of those CD things that you put the CD in the computer and it was like that and it like scanned it or something. But
I mean,
all right, if that's how,
are you going to tell the Keklon, hey, give me that TM so I can put it in this thing and scan it?
oh, I've got better flavoring for it than that.
Oh no.
Are you ready to roll up a new character?
Well, I mean, if you want to,
That was a threat.
if you want to play with that, go ahead. Though I would probably recommend everyone else do their shopping before Raniel does something stupid.
No. See, I was considering just outright buying Safeguard.
Might not be a bad idea for somebody to get the water spike. I was going to, but I kind of suck miserably with it.
Do you have like a typed out description of Safeguard that I can just like copy paste?
Sure. There's a description from here, though I'll need to slightly alter it. Let me get you that description. Let me slightly alter. There, that's Safeguard.
New negative status. That sounds really good as a melee character. Ugh.
And we can only have one TM at a time, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And the TM is a single use.
The TM is something you hold and attune to.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you guys planning on buying?
Let's see. that and some other stuff. Like, I still need to get food for the trip.
Yeah, food is there. I didn't put it on there, but food is there. It's as usual 1 gold per apple.
Alright. 94 right now. So I'm gonna get Safeguard.
Alright. Guess you don't need to be schmancy, Raniel.
Aw. I had the perfect cover story and everything.
Now you just get to copy it with your box.
And are these items like finite here?
The slingshot ammunition is not the slingshot ammunition. The slingshot ammunition is not. The slingshot is. The B-sharp blade, he has about 6 of them. The water spike and necrotic dagger are. The orange berries are not, because why would I make that finite? Nor the citrus berries. The potions are. The orbs are, and the TM are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm gonna get is food.
Okay.
Let's see. It's a 4-day journey.
Reniel has enough for just himself.
Oh wait, 4-day journey. That as in travel time
Round
there.
trip.
Yeah, travel
Yeah,
time
I need to plan on coming
Okay, so we
back.
need
That would
food.
be 8. And we should probably plan to be there for,
Yeah.
I would say,
10
probably
apples.
at least 5 days.
It's a tropical island, so you can imagine there might be some food there, but having surplus just in case is not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Reniel's gonna buy 12 apples.
Okay.
What's the cost of that?
1 gold per
12
apple.
gold.
So that's 12
Okay.
gold.
I'm bad at math, so I'm gonna buy 15 more.
Oh.
15
More?
more?
No, I mean 15 instead of 12.
Okay.
You can use dice parser to math for you.
No, it's too late.
Or you could do what I do and have a calculator.
It's too late.
Oh, that's right. Each apple is only good for half a day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Harold's gonna buy 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna up that number to 20 as well. I'm still doing the calculations. The gold right here.
Mm-hmm. I suppose while we're here, obviously he's not here, but is Eugene planning on getting anything?
I kind of want to get the water spike and the fire resistant potion because we're going in a volcano.
I was wondering when one of you guys would realize that.
Like I said, they just say
Something
they just
water
say
type.
yes to anything.
Something water types. We can handle it.
Do you have the fire resistance?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking about the water spike, but I have terrible modifiers for using any kind of weapon.
Problem is I don't have, like, I know we just got paid, but I'm not like super loaded. All the shenanigans we've done in the. So, yeah, I'll deduct for. Yeah, I'll deduct 40 and take that water spike.
Okay.
I guess I'll grab the potion of fire resistance.
Alright.
Reniel's going to buy one as well.
Okay.
And there's no other additional modifiers on the water spike. It's just basically cold damage.
Yeah.
Does what my. Yeah.
Just basically short sword with cold damage.
Alright.
Oh wait, I'm gonna have to go back to Kaylin and actually ask about something.
And there's still plenty of time to do that, so yeah, you could.
I'm going to buy also What do I got for food? I'm gonna buy 9 apples, so I'm at 10.
Okay.
Plus the per.
All right.
Actually, I'll buy 10. Or no, I'll buy 11. Yeah, just so I'm at an
This
even
one
number
have like
here.
20 because it's 2 per day.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are apple loaded now.
I have 15 apples and a perfect apple. Okay, okay, we're gonna be going on an island. What are some hazards on an island? I suppose some of the practical items I'm gonna have to see what my research yields, but
Yeah.
so I might save that for after the session.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can feel free to, like, since the practical item store is not a shifts daily
Yeah.
sort of thing, if you guys want, like, any practical items after the session, like, after I give Eugene his research and then he shares it with you guys, you can feel free to call for any practical items you might want.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So we might want the poison resistance too. If there's like poisonous snakes.
I mean, you'd imagine most of the poisonous snakes would be Ekans, but...
Yeah. Well, we might soft lock ourselves if we don't, like, if we eat a pie and don't throw it at a Yeti, so.
What? I'll
What?
ask after the stream. Okay. But I suppose if shopping is done for now.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do y'all want to spend the rest of your day doing? By now, I'll say, at least for the shoppers that went into the town, I'll say it's about midday.
So yeah, I wanted to go back to Kaylin to ask her.
Okay.
Just
Reniel and... Okay, before we do that, Reniel and Eugene. Right, Eugene's doing that research.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Reniel and Harold.
Harold is going to go check on the thing I DM'd you about at the end of last session and see if it's still there.
Okay. I'll probably DM you that after the session.
Okay.
So, Reniel?
I'm not sure.
You can just be an evil loaf and loaf around if you want.
I guess he's going to go stalk Aurora then, just to see
Oh,
what
no.
she's doing.
Okay. Alright then, I suppose we'll start with you, Sergey.
Alright.
So, yeah. You enter back into the guild, you head to the lab, and you see the door is closed again, so you imagine Kaylin has gotten back.
I'm going to knock.
Okay. You knock, she opens the door, and she says, "Oh, do you need something?"
Right. I just had a thought while we were out getting supplies. Are you going to be able to charter a boat, or should I consider looking around? I might be able to call in a favor.
I was probably going to look around myself, but I don't know too many seafarers. You do look like someone who's familiar with the sea, so do you have anyone in particular you're thinking of?
Like I said, I might be able to call in a favor. I will let you know if you want me to do that.
I mean, it'll probably be better than me chartering a ship, so if you've got someone in mind, feel free.
Alright.
Alright, she nods for a moment, but after a moment, she's like, "Oh, right. By the way, don't worry if you guys are getting food and stuff. Don't worry, I'll get my own, and also don't worry about needing to protect me. I can more or less defend myself."
Okay, that sounds perfect. We've already gotten our food, at least Rendell, myself, and Harold.
All right.
Imagine Eugene is looking around, trying to figure out things.
You might not know, but does Eugene have a problem with me?
Honestly, I could not tell you. I'm not sure myself.
Well, I hope it doesn't get in the way of our teamwork when we reach the islands.
Right. We're going to need to all be working together on this. It was a rather long conversation, even coming to agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Our concerns.
All right. Well, feel free to Feel free to get us a ship, and if you manage, just tell me, and we'll prepare for that.
All right.
Okay. She nods to you before entering back into her little abode.
Okay. And in that case, I think I've already got most of what I need, except for like stuff at the supply shop. So.
Mm-hmm. So that could be it.
Oh, right. So I don't forget this later. I'm gonna start attuning to that TM.
Okay. All right. But otherwise, is that going to be it for you today?
For me, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, aside from also
Yeah.
looking for someone to call that favor in.
Yeah. I'm sure that's something you'll DM me about after the session.
Right.
Which means I'm going to be enjoying a lot of DMs after session.
Oh boy.
Well, I put this on myself. But anyways, before we go to Renniel's shenanigans with Aurora, Eugene, join me in the private room.
Okay. And
Okay, so Eugene, you've been going through this library, managed to find the section on the islands, and you've begun your research for a bit. The point of time you're there, Raven has since left the library with a book, and you imagine he went back to his room, so he's currently not there, but eventually you hear hoofsteps coming in your direction out of your periphery hearing.
I look to see who it is.
You look up and you see Thornton is standing there looking over at you.
Oh, hello, sir.
Hello. Am I interrupting?
Oh, no. I have all day to do this, sir. Day off, after all.
Very well. He clears his throat and he says, "Just so you're aware, we have already cleared it for you all to head to the Tronflanel Islands. Raven is already heading out and getting the letter ready to send to the islands in hopes that they will allow you safe passage."
Mm-hmm. And we'll know if the natives are how should I say it, friendly?
Indeed. I would not recommend going if they aren't, but it does appear at least Kaylin's mind is set.
Oh, well, if I may, what her going alone, if we don't go, you have to understand that's a suicide
Stupid.
mission.
It is very
Yes.
much stupid. I'm well aware. I wouldn't worry. Well, I mean, you're planning on going, but I'm sure Raven would be desperately talking her out of it, if not the rest of us as well. But yes, that is rather foolish of her to be so gung ho, I believe is how you youngins say it nowadays, in
Yeah.
going to those islands. We will not deny it's certainly important, but it does also seem to be foolish to be willing to risk her own life in going alone.
Well, my my team is pretty convinced on going anyway, so I don't think we'd have to worry about that anyway.
Mm-hmm. But there is a matter of import if you are going that. I wish to ask you, and this matter of import, at least for now, I would ask that you keep to yourself and not tell your friends unless it is absolutely necessary.
What's that?
You remember the what you brought back with us after clearing out those bandits from the fort. You remember the note, correct?
Yes, with those initials.
That organization, that group, we of the Freelance Guild have long thought it's possible they might be attempting to also get in contact with the Trofanel Islands in attempts of maybe facilitating power or doing something there. In fact, I don't know what you suspect about those rocks you came back with, but there is a part of me that wonders if it might be that group.
So they might have been involved in that incident in the forest, is what you're saying?
I believe it to be possible. I am not absolutely certain on this, but I fully believe it to be possible. So I'm not asking you to engage them in any way, shape, or form. In fact, quite the opposite. If you do notice them, I would ask you to avoid engaging with them at all costs, but I would ask that you observe and report back to me if you do find evidence that they are there.
And this is a bit of a tall order here. I mean, if we do encounter them and they are hostile, sometimes we'd have to fight them.
If you must fight them, then fight. I'm not telling you to not defend yourselves, obviously, but I would recommend not picking a fight with them at the very least.
Oh, well, yeah. I won't do that. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind, sir.
Very well. I hope my hunch is wrong, but they, as you can imagine, they worry me.
Mm-hmm.
We have long since recovered. We are in the process of recovering, as it's been many years since the wars, and I would loathe to see it come up again.
Yeah, let's just hope your hunch is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my best to. No, I'll get everyone back safe.
Very well. That is all I ask. And once again, do not, unless it is absolutely necessary, I would prefer you not to inform your friends that I tasked you this.
Understood.
It's not that I don't trust them, it's just I feel it's best that they focus on the task at hand, but one of you should know, and out of your group, I feel you're the one who's best to have this information.
But let me make one thing clear. If I have to reveal it to them, I will.
Oh, I fully understand and accept that. I'm not having you keep it away from them out of straight up sadism or anything like that, or any specific reason. Just that this information is sensitive. In fact, Harold isn't even aware of them yet, so I would prefer to keep that information of them and their activities out of too many ears until we are absolutely certain of how we intend to deal with it.
All right. Understood.
He gives you a nod and he begins turning around and heading off.
Eugene kind of just gives a sigh and sits there like kind of like looking into nowhere for a second, and then just kind of goes back to the books.
All right. Okay, we can head back to the main room now.
All right.
Hello.
Okay. So, Reniel, last you saw, Kaylin was heading downstairs into the dojo and heading on the opposite side of where, or not Kaylin, Aurora.
Aurora.
Aurora was...
Don't expect this to be interesting. He's just... Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, I may as well. So yeah, last you saw, Aurora was going the opposite direction of Kaylin's lab. So are you going to head down there?
Yep.
Okay, so you head down there, and yeah, you see a door in front of you, and on it you see written kitchen.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Mage hand the door open.
Okay. So, just gonna, not even stealthily, just gonna burst on in there?
Yep, he has an excuse.
Okay. So, you mage hand the door and push it open with all the lack of subtlety that Raniel generally is. And for a split second, you see actually probably a very strange scene. Or at least strange to you. You see Aurora in there. She seems to be mixing some ingredients together. And she seems to be actually smiling and looking... Doc. For those of you in the chat who can't see it, Doc said Aurora's standing over a dead body. But... No, okay, so yeah, you see her in the kitchen mixing some ingredients together. She seems to actually be smiling and is almost humming a small tune to herself, but as you burst open the door, she gives a bit of a gives a bit of a jump, maybe spills a little of her ingredients. Her smile immediately drops and she looks back over to you and she says, "Don't you know to knock first?"
No.
What do you want?
Do not mind me. I was just coming to check on the salt reserves.
She rolls her eyes and she is like, "We have plenty, don't worry. We made sure to stock extra because of your weird obsession with it."
Thank you. You seem happier than usual before I showed up anyway.
You saw nothing.
Don't worry, I will not tell anyone.
Good. I was just in here cooking like I usually do. There was nothing happening, okay?
Okay. Do you not want to talk about it, though?
What's there to talk about me cooking?
I meant the smiling.
She scowls. Fine. I enjoy cooking. Happy now? Yeah.
Yes,
No,
I just thought
it's not really befitting a noble to be doing cooking like that, but I enjoy it. That's why I'm down here in the kitchen working on our foods.
I was not expecting that, considering you said that you did not like being part of the guild.
I don't. I'd rather be anywhere else, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy cooking in here.
That is fair enough. At least you get something that you like to do here.
She sighs and she says, "Yeah, I suppose." Are you done staring at me?
I am not staring at you. I am staring at the wall.
She gives you a look. I prefer.
He continues staring at the wall.
She glares at you and she says, "I prefer cooking without others watching me. So can you please leave?"
Very well.
And he turns around and the door shuts behind him. Actually, okay, he turns around and he minor illusions a knock and then he shuts the door.
You are not able to see how she reacts, but
That's fine.
you can imagine she reacted.
I kind of actually feel sorry for this character with like the incident at the beginning and
She seems to be getting the raw end of the deal. All right. Is there anything anybody else wants to do? Otherwise, we will. Otherwise, we'll troll Zoro. Apparently. Otherwise, we will end it off.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I don't know.
Are we going to like bed soon, kind of around that area?
Yeah, you would be going to bed. Yeah, you would be going to bed soon if you're doing nothing else of the day.
All right. So after I'm like done shopping and done researching and parsing through everything I found, I'm just kind of sitting on my bed. Eugene's gonna be sitting on his bed, and he grabs his chessboard and he goes over to Harold and Reniel's room and knocks on the door.
Okay.
The door opens by itself, as far as you're concerned.
Hi.
And Reniel is just sitting on his bed loafing.
And Harold?
Harold is sorting through his supplies, figuring out what he needs to take with him, what he's leaving behind.
Hi guys.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Eugene.
I was wondering if one of you wants to play a game of chess.
I would be interested in doing so. Though if you would prefer Harold be the one you play chess with, I would understand.
Well, anyone. This would be fine.
Reniel
Oh,
stands
right.
up.
What was that, Harold?
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Reniel wants to play?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I set up the board. Maybe we have like a little, or maybe we're just on the floor. And as we're playing, I say, sorry for the way I was acting earlier.
It is fine. I can understand why you would not want to go. Assuming that is what you are referring to.
Oh, I mean everything, really.
You did raise some valid concerns, I will say that.
Yeah, but I probably wasn't very eloquently spoken while doing that. I I wasn't always like this, you know.
Harold double checks to make sure the door's closed. And if it's not, he closes it.
I was just about to say, no, the door's not closed, so
Hmm.
yeah, you walk over
Right.
and close it.
Back in my hometown, I had a friend. It's why I like games like this so much, you see. And we actually played all sorts of games together, and I'd get wins on those games, but on this one, on chess, I never won a single game against him, not even once. I I practiced so hard, but every tournament we went to, I could only get the silver to his gold. And I wasn't jealous or anything. In fact, I savored when the day would come when I'd be able to outplay him and win. And I just knew in my heart that day would come eventually. But one day in my hometown, a kid got lost in a mystery dungeon. It wasn't a particularly dangerous one, but a small child getting lost in a place like a mystery dungeon, as you've kind of pointed out, Harold, is nothing to scoff at. And my friend volunteered himself to go with the search party. And they found the kid. They found the kid easily, frightened and unharmed, but when they left the dungeon, Lucian was nowhere to be seen. The others in the search party swore he was with them as they were leaving, but it was if he vanished out of thin air. After that, I joined every search party every day to try and find him. I must have been in that dungeon 100 times, maybe even more. I remember every nook and cranny of it. But then eventually more and more Pokemon gave up searching. I guess I gave up too. Once you have someone that you have so much in common with taken away, and I don't mean offense to you or Sergey or anyone, but it just seems like a downgrade. And that's why I shut myself away, knowing I'll never get the chance to beat him. And you know what's funny? I got recruited into the Freelance Guild for coming in second place in a chess tournament against who we met in the basement. And it upset me more than anything. Not because I lost, it's because I don't change. I'm still silver medal Eugene. It just feels like I'm drifting farther and farther away from Lucian. It feels like there's this void inside of me that really does want to change, that really wants to move on and make new friends, but I just turn into a pile of nerves when I try to. And I admit I was apprehensive about you joining our team, Harold, like I am about everyone. But when I heard you knew something about mystery dungeons, I felt like I could confide in you. That you could, at the very least, find out what happened to my friend. Even if I never see him again, I could at least have as much closure as knowing what happened. I've noticed the grim expressions you give time to time when certain subject matter is brought up. not intentionally, of course. But I have the feeling that maybe you and I are not so different, and that you maybe understand me more than anyone else, and you might be able to help me.
It was my brother. He was a member of this very guild. And he disappeared in a dungeon and never came back.
Maybe I guess I wasn't wrong.
That's why I'm doing all of this. I'm not looking for thrills, I'm not looking for adventure, I'm not looking for glory. I don't want anybody else to have to go through what I did.
And maybe it is best we go to the island.
I think we have to.
It's your move, Reniel.
Renial.exe is not able to comprehend the feels.
He just kind of, he's gonna move his knight.
Okay. I don't know if we can like make determine the outcome of this, or it's just gonna happen off screen, or I don't know.
If you guys
Well, I
want,
mean, we could roll some sort of intelligence thing, I guess.
We could just do what we did in the chess tournament, right?
Yeah. If you were on a roll like history, insight, and deception, and have those 3 contests, you can. But
all right.
This is gonna be very painful if
I lose.
yeah. Well, I mean, you have proficiency in all of these, so you have
and expertise.
Oh, and expertise, so you do have the advantage here.
So what's the first one?
History.
History, yep.
D20 plus. Let me go to my sheet. I closed it for some stupid reason. Okay, there I am. Let's go up to. What's our proficiency right now? It's 2, so it'd be 4. It'd be 5. Okay. D20 plus 5. Ooh.
Oh. All right. Next, roll deception, and then roll insight, and then contest it with the other person's deception and insight.
So we're doing deception first?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a deception versus insight contest, so.
So do I gotta do insight then?
It can be either or. You can roll insight now to contest Renial's deception, or you can roll deception now, and then I'll contrast the previous 2 rolls. It's, however, either way, doesn't matter.
What did you just roll there, Renial?
Deception.
So I gotta do insight then. Okay, plus 7. Oh my god.
Oh.
You know what? I'm just gonna use my die there because we're gonna.
Oh, you're not gonna go with the it's fitting because Renial's expressionless sort of deal.
Okay. Wait, I'll just use it on the last one.
Okay. All right. Next.
Okay.
Next, Eugene, roll insight or roll deception. Though obviously,
Here's Renial's insight is 10.
All right, so I gotta use my deception. That will be. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'll use it there instead.
That's reasonable.
Okay. So yeah, as the game progressed, strangely enough, perhaps it's because you're just not in the best of, or due to the emotional conversation, but you do seem to be evenly matched in terms of skill, at least played in this game. You did notice that it's very difficult to read Renial, as you can imagine, and Renial didn't even seem to be trying to be as deceptive as he could be. But you were also able to be a lot more deceptive than And Raniel was really not able to read you, Eugene, so that eventually tipped it over and allowed you to win.
All right.
Congratulations, Eugene.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go shopping tomorrow to get any supplies we might need for that island, and thank you for letting me come in here.
You're welcome.
And now Eugene's going to hear inside of his head.
For what it is worth, I have also lost many friends. Not in such a disturbing manner as you have. It was actually rather mundane, but I know what it is like.
Yeah.
That's all Reniel has to say.
Yeah. I kind of give a little nod or bow or maybe even a little curtsy. No, I don't do that. And I go back into my room.
Okay, give me another luck point roll. Roll, Eugene.
Yeah.
Screw you, Purser.
You know, why don't you date me first, Parser?
All right, and that is where we will end it off then. Just at the 2-hour mark too. Well, bit over, but still.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for joining us on this trip, and next time, insert the sailing theme from Wind Waker. All right.
Ciao.
Bye.